Hi friends, Music Man from his man cave, and I am talking about movies that I believe that as time passes, you see that they were hot, they were amazing at their time, and then you look back on them and you just realize maybe people were overrated them a little bit. And I think that Star Wars happens to be one of those movies, excluding The Empire Strikes Back, for me. I just think that Star Wars was overrated, and now I'm going to ask you guys some questions to compare some movies and their writing compared to the writing of Star Wars, and I want you to give me your opinion. What you think? Do you think I actually have a legitimate question, or do you think I'm just completely ridiculous because Star Wars is sacred, and I find your lack of faith disturbing? Geeks and nerds unite! Let's do some evaluation here. So let's compare the writing of certain movies that have come out as of late compared to the writing of Star Wars. We've already talked about the writing in part 1. You'll want to go back and look at that. What about the writing of this movie? X-Men Days of Future Past. Compare the writing of this. Now we know it has state-of-the-art special effects. The special effects are amazing in this movie. But what about the writing compared to Star Wars? I mean, turn away now. Spoilers are coming. If you don't want any spoilers, you haven't seen this movie yet. This is a movie about, in the future becomes very bleak because of the war between mankind and the mutants. And so they have to find a way to go back and change time. Very interesting. Very mesmerizing. You find yourself glued to the screen the entire time. Good stuff. Will this movie be good 30 years from now? And people watch it and go, that's a really excellent movie. Will people be saying about this, it probably deserved an Academy Award? Is it better written than Star Wars? Please, discuss. How about this one? Source Code. Have you checked this movie out? Excellent writing. This movie is so well written. Great ending. Great ending. So what do you think of Source Code? What do you think of its writing? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You've missed a great flick. It's really surprising. And I think its writing is superb, in my opinion. I was glued. I was mesmerized. How about J.J. Abrams that's going to make the new Star Wars? How did he do resuscitating Star Trek? Star Trek was dead. Star Trek was pretty lousy. Their last movies sucketh. They were bad. Remember Star Trek Insurrection? The needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. How do you like J.J. Abrams' take on Star Wars? How'd you like the writing of this? Spoiler, look, stop and go forward if you don't want to. How'd you like Spock meeting his old self in the end? Wasn't that cool? How's that for writing? The old Spock meets the new Spock. Yeah. How'd these guys do? I thought the writing was superb in this movie. I really liked it. How about this? What about the writing of these three movies? Probably my favorite is Return of the King. But what about the writing? The writing of this compared to the writing of the Star Wars movies. How does it compare? We know it has outstanding special effects. But what about the writing? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the script. How do they compare? Is the Lord of the Rings trilogy better writing than Star Wars? I would say absolutely. I think this adaptation is spectacular, and it's well done, and it's well rendered, and it's well conceived. I think it smokes Star Wars, in my opinion. I don't think any of these ever won the Academy Award. Maybe one did. Maybe The Return of the King did. You have to tell me. Think about the writing there, though. Okay, let's move on. How about this movie that they actually, the marketing has botched? I think this is going to be a Blade Runner of the future. It's based off one of the most underrated movies of all time, Groundhog Day, with Phil Murray in it. It's actually called Edge of Tomorrow. But what about the writing here? So well written, so well directed. How does Star Wars compare to this movie? Watch it. Let me know. I think this movie is so well written. It's so clever. It's so interesting. Kept me glued. You know, kept me absolutely glued to the screen until the last about 20 minutes. And then it's like, it turned into, cliche. This is Groundhog Day meets Aliens meets D-Day. Groundhog Day, D-Day meets Aliens. Really a great flick. Live, Die, Repeat is, don't pay attention to that. That's so bad. Let's move on. How about the writing of this? This is in the vein of Star Wars. Check out how about Brad Bird? How about Ghost Protocol? The writing in that, comparing it to Star Wars. I don't think there's any comparison. The storyboarding and the writing of this is far superior to Star Wars. It is. You have to admit it. Okay? Come to the good side. You know, there is good still left in you. This is an amazingly written. It is so well done. It is so funny. It is so clever. It is so witty. And where's the second one? They make Star Wars, and they haven't made a second Incredibles yet? How about this writing, this graphic novel, Batman Under the Red Hood? Wow, is this well written? This is a great graphic novel. Check this baby out. It's so good. It is, yeah, it's really good. These are adult cartoons, man. Graphic novels, whatever you want to call it. These are adult animation. These are not for kids. Well written. How about this one? Brand new off the... What about the writing of this? The Batman and the Suicide Squad. How's the writing of that compared to Star Wars? The same vein. Sci-fi, pop culture. Let me know. Let me just look at the writing of Star Wars, compare how it's written, and compare it to this. And you will see that, I'm sorry, Lucas had a vision, but he got smoked. You know, he got, you know, he should have let some other people, you know, have some say in it, you know. The best one is Empire Strikes Back that was not directed by him. He should have gotten a clue. How about the writing of these? Oh, these are so good. Oh, yeah. How about the writing of these? So well written. Oh, if Star Wars only if. They should have made 7, 8, and 9. But if this is how to go back. If George Lucas wanted to know how to go back, maybe he's paved the way. Discuss. But so well done. Okay? How about this movie? How is the writing of this compared to Star Wars? I think it's about on par with it. I enjoy it, but I swallowed Star Wars where ships can make sounds in outer space. There is no sound in space. Sorry to upset you. They come by squealing like pigs. There's no sound in space. Unless in that universe, space. Or, by the way, you can't just wear a mask and walk around in space. It's 300 below zero kind of thing. Doesn't really work. Anyway, yeah. Think about it. Discuss. Here's one that has been nuked by the critics. How's the writing of this one compared to Star Wars? I think it's on par with the first three. Not Empire Strikes Back, but definitely on par with the first three. I don't think that the writing in this is horrendous. We have a guy that's found a transformer that the government doesn't like him anymore because the bad transformers attacked the world, and so they're trying to engineer transformers, and so this is about robots out of control kind of thing, kind of ties into a lot of those science out of control movies like Transcendence and Terminator and, you know, all that. Lot of movies that are better written, of course. But how's the writing of this compare to Star Wars, Transformers Age of Extinction? Yeah, I know it's Michael Bay-sized, but it's good for discussion because the critics just nuked this movie. They hated it. I watched it and found it enjoyable. Something to think about. So there's some food for thought. Let me know what you think below. Are these movies better written? Are they? Do you think they're better written? I do. Most of them. Some of them are up for debate. But I don't think there's anything like the magic formula. I think there's a lot of plagiarism that goes on with Star Wars. I'll do one more, and I'm going to talk about the problems that I had with Star Wars. I can list a million things I liked about Star Wars, but I want to tell you the problems that I had with it, and what made the movies not as good as they could have been. Coming right at you.